Hey, everybody, quick announcement. We're doing a second CMP study. Starting May 6th, it's a total win-win. You get to come into League if you qualify for the study, go through the first 8 weeks of League, which we call the 8-week parenting pivot. It's this incredible deep dive of implementing Connect Method parenting, and we get to follow your progress to show the impact Connect Method parenting is having on parents who implement it in their home. So it's a total win-win. All you've got to do is apply for the study before May 6th because that's when it closes, because that's when we're starting it. There's a link in the show notes, so you just click that link, answer some questions. If you pre-qualify, we'll reach out to you, confirm that it's a good fit, and then we'll be off to the races. So if you've been waiting for an opportunity to jump into League, but you've been hesitant for whatever reason, see this as your sign. It's your time to jump in. I would be so grateful because my mission is to get CMP out to more people. And part of that process is collecting statistical data showing how it works for people in their home in real situations. So it would be such a blessing for me if you feel inspired to participate in the study. And it would be such a win for you because you will be able to have access to the tools to shift from corrective to connective parenting. Now, this is only available until May 6th, so jump on it while you can. And if you're not interested in participating in the study, but you would like to start implementing Connect Method parenting, you want that assistance to guarantee you success, League is open for general traditional sign up as well. So you can sign up that way as well. You don't have to participate in the study, but both will close May 6th. So whether you are entering the traditional way or through the study, May 6th is the deadline, and we're not going to reopen until July or August for another round of League. I don't know if we're going to do another CMP study. We'll just have to wait and see. So now is the perfect time to join. And I just wanted to let everybody who's listening to the podcast know about this opportunity so that you don't go 2 more months and not have the help that you need. And real quick, before we get to the episode, I thought it'd be really fun to share some thoughts from people who just completed this study.
I just can never express how great this has been and how thankful I am. It's been everything. It's been so good.
Like, are we only 2 weeks in? It's like night and day already. There's just been this total shift.
Like our hearts are like so connected. Thank you. I'm so grateful.
I really see the change.
So fun. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So if you're ready to create a change in your parenting, you're ready to go from corrective to connective parenting, I would love for you to come participate in the study, or you can come in traditionally, but you got to get your application in before May 6th because that's when we're closing the doors. And the results, by the way, were so incredible from the first study. I am going to do a whole podcast episode about it to let you know what happens when we implement Connect Method parenting now that we have the data to support that. But we want a bigger base to pull from so that we have hundreds and hundreds of moms that have gone through this study, maybe even thousands. So if you are feeling inclined, come join us in the study. And if you have any questions, reach out to us at hello@connectmethodparenting.com and we'll get back to you. All right, on with the show. No adult or child is better or worse than another adult or child. Welcome to the Connect Method Parenting Podcast, where correction is out, connection is in, and your kids want to listen to you. I'm Andy Martineau, creator of Connect Method Parenting, here to help you stay calm, confident, and connected no matter what. Yo, everybody. Welcome back to the CMP Book Club series. It's a 15-part series. I know, crazy, right? Where every Thursday for 15 weeks in a row, I jump on here and read you a chapter from my book. So glad you're here, but if you are catching this midstream, I do recommend jumping back to episode 32. That's where this whole saga began. Unless you want to totally ignore me, which you are completely welcome to do, and just continue on from here. This book lays out the foundational framework of CMP, showing you how you can honestly stop trying to get your kids to listen to you using consequences, rewards, ultimatums, bribes, timeouts. I could keep going. They don't work long term. And instead, realize that it's the relationship and the connection that's going to get your kids to want to listen to you. I've also created a free companion guide or workbook for you to use along the way so you can integrate what you learn in each chapter and make this your reality in your life. So if you want to grab a copy for yourself, you can get that at CMP for Connect Method Parenting, but it's just CMP.works because CMP works /CWB for companion workbook. I'll put the link in the show notes too, so you don't have to remember that. All right, you all ready? Let's dive into today's chapter. Chapter 5, Parenting is Subtraction and Addition. Be willing to take risks so you don't have to settle for normal. Parenting math. Connect method parenting is about knowing what to take out and what to add in. Your very best parenting comes when you have the right constraints. Parenting doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes your best parenting moments are the simplest ones. Dr. Seuss wrote Green Eggs and Ham, one of the best-selling children's books of all time, with only 50 different words. Connect method parenting is about simplicity. You think and connect at the highest level when you whittle down the options. What you leave out of your parenting is just as important as what you decide to include. Embracing the beauty of simplicity empowers you to keep moving forward. Subtract control. What do you want from your kids more than anything else? What do you need from your kids more than anything else? Obedience? Compliance? Nope. What you need and want from your kids more than anything else is influence. You need influence because without it, your ideas, your opinions, your beliefs, your preferences, your requests get ignored. I've seen parents spend years relying on punishments and rewards to control their child. Then one day the child says no. The child doesn't care what the parent is willing to give them or threaten to take away. The parent's ability to control the child is over. The child begins to defy the parent anytime he feels controlled or manipulated. If you give up the need to control and focus on building the relationship with your child, as they get older, you'll have created a relationship in which you can say, "I'm not sure that's a good idea." And they'd be open to having a conversation with you about it. The more power you use to manipulate your child, the less impact and influence you will have with them. You can't demand their cooperation. You earn it. Subtract correction. No punishments. How will I ever get my kids to do what they're told, follow the rules, and become responsible adults if I can't give a consequence? You and every parent I work with must grapple with this question. I used to wonder that myself. The truth is that punishments, consequences, and rewards are not going to change your child's behavior. They do not help your child develop a long-lasting commitment to following rules. They may get your child to do what they're told in the short term, but once the consequence is removed, the old behavior returns. So what does shift behavior? Connecting consistently for the sake of connecting, not to fix or change the behavior. Giving a consequence or reward won't be needed when genuine, authentic, consistent connection is given. You can't connect and accept them when things are going great and ignore or reject them when things are going terrible. When connection is absent, even a consequence or reward won't be enough to change behavior in the short term. If you told your child you pay him $1,000 to clean his room, there's a good chance he'd get that room cleaned in under 10 minutes. Same thing would happen if you threatened to not bring him along on the family trip to Hawaii if he didn't get his room clean. Then you could confidently announce that consequences and rewards work. But did you really get what you were after? Will the room get cleaned without the reward or threatened consequence? Corrective techniques can never help someone develop a commitment to doing something consistently. Once the reason for doing it is gone, so is the action. What you really want isn't a short-term result, but a long-term shift in your child's behavior. Consequences don't create that. Connection does. The cost of constantly using consequences to control your child is that you never learn how to influence them. You rely on punishments and rewards and have less influence over their lives, not more. Instead of asking the question, how do I get my child to do this or that? Ask the question, what does my child need right now? What can I do to best help him today? This will shift your parenting from controlling to connecting and influencing. It matters what kind of questions you ask yourself as a parent. Parenting is a test of your ability to handle disorder, unpredictability, big emotions, and different personalities. It's a test you can't study for, and the results aren't always clear. It's a test in patience, understanding, and compassion. Taking away consequences leads many parents to fear that they'll spoil the children with all this unconditional love and acceptance. But spoiling only happens if you give your child too much of what they want and too little of what they need. They need your unconditional acceptance of them more than anything else. Giving them your love, acceptance, and affection without limits isn't going to spoil them. Every human needs deep attachments to other human beings who love them for exactly who they are. We can never be spoiled by receiving too much of it. Give your child love and acceptance without explanation, justification, or reservation. Dish out huge doses of connection regardless of their mood, behavior, or situation. Make sure they know you're on their team, that you've got their back, and are delighted with them no matter what they are doing. If you have to say no or set a limit, do it with as much love and acceptance as possible. Remind them that you believe in them, so there's no question in their mind how you feel about them, especially in the most challenging circumstances. Fill them up with what they need. Children need to be loved for who they are. They need to be loved as they are. When you do that for them, they can begin to do that for themselves. They can begin to accept themselves no matter what they've done because they've seen you accept them no matter what they've done. They will see themselves as good people even when they mess up or fail. They will thrive and become the fullest version of themselves because of your unconditional love in them and your belief in the fullest version of them. The more you do this for them, the more they can offer this love and acceptance to themselves and others. They'll be able to handle any situation that comes up with grace and gentleness as a result. They will be unstoppable. If you're new to Connect Method Parenting, I have a great way for you to get started. I created a free course that covers some of the biggest challenges parents are facing and how Connect Method Parenting solves them. In an hour, we're going to talk about why parenting is so hard, how to get your kids to want to listen to you, how to stop yelling and losing your cool, and become that calm, confident, connected parent for good. It's the fastest way to get started using connection as your go-to tool for influencing and impacting your kids. Go to cmp.works/course to get instant access today. Your children don't learn by having consequences and rewards dangled in front of them. They learn by feeling safe, loved, and accepted by you. Give that love when things are going great in massive amounts. Give that love when things are going terrible in massive amounts. They need to know when they're rude, frustrated, or acting out that you love them just as much as when they are kind, calm, and considerate. You'll do it imperfectly at first, but keep trying. If you keep at it, your ability to give your child exactly what they need, your unconditional love, is inevitable. Add listening and genuine options. Kids want to be heard, but feel their parents aren't listening. Parents want to be heard, but feel their kids aren't listening. This creates a lot of frustration for everyone, but it doesn't have to be like this. You can turn it around by making it okay for kids to say something other than yes or okay when a request is made. How? Let the kids disagree, have an opinion, chat openly and honestly about what's on their mind. These options create more, not less, order, voluntary compliance, peace, connection. Your kids will love it because you're giving them permission to respond to your request with something other than yes. They'll know they have permission to disagree without getting in trouble. Parents love it because when the kids don't want to do what they've been asked, it doesn't turn into a power struggle. Feels like magic, but it's really because you've taught them the skill of connectively disagreeing. You will feel free and relieved. The kids will feel empowered and confident. It's a win-win. The result? More peace and understanding. In the end, everyone gets better at navigating difficult conversations. Subtract fixing them. No child wants to be told they are wrong. They want to be told, I'm here for you, I understand you, this is normal. Connect instead of correct, especially when the child makes a mistake. This doesn't mean you're letting them get away with it. Your child is smart. When your children mess up, they don't need you to inform them. They already know. They didn't mean to mess up. They aren't out to make your life hard. They aren't trying to defy you. There's just something not working for them. The behavior is information reflecting that. That's it. Instead of trying to fix them, try to unconditionally connect with them. Your kids aren't always able to do the right thing. Why? Because they're human. You don't need to point this out. You don't need to rub it in their face. You need to look inside yourself, calm your nervous system down, and come with empathy and compassion. It's hard because most of us grew up thinking we needed to be fixed because our behavior was bad. Dealing with off-track behavior combined with the stigma of bad makes the situation worse, not better. If you correct and fix them so you can teach them a lesson when they've messed up, they won't believe your love is unconditional. They won't learn that making mistakes is normal. They won't come to believe they are doing their best. They won't learn to let go of their mistakes. They already know when they've made a mistake. Trust that they'll learn exactly what they need by watching your example of morality and by seeing you set limits and listen with empathy and compassion. Back in the day, I used calm down corners, cool down spots, and get under control squares. I thought they'd help. I mean, calm down was in the name, for goodness sake. What I didn't realize at the time was the timeout tool teaches the child to stop feeling his emotions. We are in essence saying, you aren't invited to be in my presence until you stop feeling that way. The message is clear. That emotion is bad. I can't tolerate it. Get rid of it, and then you can come out and be with me. How do you unwind the fix-it habits you inherited from the corrective parenting paradigm? Step 1, stop believing fixing it with correction works. Step 2, believe connection works and start connecting for connection's sake. Step 3, blow your mind when you find you have more patience with your kids and influence on their behavior by connecting, not correcting. The best way to believe in the power of connection is to practice thinking powerful thoughts about connection. For example, this needs to be felt, not fixed. My child needs to feel loved, not broken. There is not a problem I can't solve with connection. My child just needs something right now. My job is to figure out what that is. I'm becoming a parent who's not fazed by unkind words or behaviors. I am committed to staying connected no matter what my kids do. Add an open door to all the emotions. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Helen Keller. Your emotions make you human. Even the negative ones have an important purpose. Emotions are the fuel that drive you. They are not to be ignored or gotten rid of. By feeling your emotions, you grow up emotionally. How many adults do you know who've gotten older but haven't grown up? The ones who, when traffic gets bad, are about as grown up as your 5-year-old? Getting older physically is inevitable, but growing up emotionally isn't. The only way you grow up emotionally is to ride the emotional roller coaster of your life fully engaged. Willingly accept the ups and downs, the highs and lows of the emotional ride that each emotion provides. Your emotional maturity skyrockets once you stop seeing emotions as something to endure and instead see them as something you want to experience. I wish I'd known to welcome all the emotions in when my kids were younger. I wouldn't have beat myself up when I felt frustrated or gotten short with my kids when they were upset. There's this song by John Mayer called Emoji of a Wave. I randomly found it on Spotify one day when I was driving down the road. The longer I listened to it, the more emotional I got. Finally, I burst into tears. We had just moved across state lines, sold basically everything we owned, and were starting over. All good things, but I was grieving the loss of what was. The song perfectly summed up the emotional ride I'd been on. I wish you were sitting in my car right now so we could grab a tissue, roll the windows down, and turn the music up, blasting the song and singing at the top of our lungs. You should go listen to it first chance you get. But just in case you don't, here's the chorus to give you a taste. But seriously, go listen. Oh, honey, it's just a wave. It's just a wave, and I know that when it comes, I just hold on. I just hold on. If I find myself hurt, holding on to frustration, or beating myself up, I turn on the song. I put my hands on my chest and gently rock as I sing the words to myself. I love the line where he says, "Oh, honey." I tear up every time and visualize being comforted by someone who loves and believes in me. Things I thought needed fixing just needed feeling. The way you get better at riding a bike is by riding it. The way you get better at feeling your emotions is by feeling them. To get better at something, you've got to do the thing. Scientists have shown differences in brain development and growth when a human feels the full breadth and depth of an emotion. When a person goes on an emotional field trip, feeling mad at the start and eventually surrendering to the emotions and feeling sad, there is a difference in these human brains compared to those who suppress, avoid, or react to their emotions. Growing up emotionally does not happen because of your superior thinking. It's a result of your superior feeling. It's not something you can force. Your cognitive brain function aids in the process of feeling your emotions, but ultimately, you don't think your way to emotional maturity, you feel your way there. A fascinating study was conducted on toddlers' tears. The composition of their tears shed when they were angry at the beginning of a tantrum was compared to tears taken when they had surrendered and calmed down at the end of the tantrum. The tears at the end of the tantrum had toxins in them. The body was releasing the fight and flight chemicals and hormones and getting back to equilibrium. The body knows what it's doing. Humans struggle with riding the emotional wave more than any other mammal. I recently watched a documentary in which they tagged a polar bear to study its movements. The bear ran to try to protect itself when the helicopter flew over. The protective response of its nervous system had kicked in. They sedated the bear, tagged it, and then waited to make sure it recovered. When it woke up, its body shook, releasing and metabolizing the hormones that had flooded his body during the chase. It then stood up and ran off as if nothing had happened. It was incredible to watch the way the polar bear's body knew how to recover from a fight or flight response. Your body knows how to recover from fight or flight and get you back into a state of calm. The problem for us humans is we know how to suppress, avoid, or react to our emotions instead of letting them run their natural course. We must get out of the way and let our emotions do their important work of growing us up, instead of trying to make our emotions go away. Subtract comparison. Why do we think some humans are better than other humans? You intentionally do it to yourself and to your kids. Ranking people hurts you and them. Believing there's a ladder on which the higher we are, the better we are, leaves us thinking some people are more worthy or lovable than others. No such ladder exists. No adult or child is better or worse than another adult or child. We are all 100% worthy and lovable. We are not our behavior. Our kids are not their behavior. None of us must earn love. We are all worthy, period. We are all amazing. End of story. We are all lovable. That's the truth. You are perfect. Your kids are perfect. Stop judging yourself, your kids, or others based on what they do. Start seeing the greatness of who you are and who your kids are. Taking comparison out of your parenting leaves you with more room for compassion. Add trust, subtract trouble. Nobody likes the feeling of being in trouble. Your kids feel the same way. Being in trouble feels terrible. And when your kids think they're in trouble, they'll either defend themselves or believe they aren't good enough. Either way, they forget how amazing they are. More off-track behavior follows because being in trouble doesn't bring out the best in humans. When you trust that there's a good reason for your child's behavior, here's what you'd see. You'd see the off-track behavior as a cry for help. The behavior would become evidence that your child is struggling. You know giving punishments or lectures wouldn't teach your child to want to change. You'd know the best way to teach your child would be to help them feel safe and accepted. You'd see their behavior as neutral. No good or bad behavior, just behavior. As a result, it would be easier to stay connected to your child. You'd be able to assess the situation. You'd set a limit if needed. You'd have a conversation if that would help. You'd set your child up for success next time. Your child wouldn't feel like they were in trouble because being in trouble wouldn't be a thing anymore. Your child would know they're simply a human. They would be a human having a human experience, occasionally messing up as all humans do. You'd stand alongside them and cheer them on. You'd believe in them even when they messed up. You'd help them navigate life. You would trust your child through all the ups and downs without judgment. You'd guide her with love, trust, and compassion, believe in her the entire time, and know she isn't defined by her mistakes. You trust that she can create anything she wants and that every experience is working for her benefit. The more you believe this about her, the more she believes this about herself. Most importantly, she'd know that no matter what happened, you trust her and you are by her side. She would know you were loving her, celebrating her, trusting her, and believing in her for who she is, not for who she could be. Subtract asking over and over and over. If you must ask a child more than twice to do something, there's usually something else going on. If they don't respond after the first time, maybe they didn't hear you. If you have to ask a second time and you're sure they heard you, then stop. Here's the deal. Something else is occupying their mind. They don't need you to ask them 10 more times before they'll listen. They need you to connect with them before they'll listen. This is when you'll want to use the 2-step ask transition. Step 1, find a way to connect. Look your child in the eyes and see if he'll look back. Try to play with them for a second. You could sing a song, do a silly dance, challenge them to a thumb war, start a game of I Spy, have a little race, sit down and ask them how they're doing. Once you've established a working relationship and they're responding to you, move to step 2. Step 2, ask again. Once you've reconnected and everyone feels nice and relaxed, try asking again. Get close, look at them in the eyes, establish a working relationship, then ask. That's the trick. Establish a working relationship with your child, meaning look them in the eyes and see if they respond to you. See if they'll look back, not in response to a question you ask, or smile if you say something funny. This is how you take a temperature check of how connected they are feeling towards you. Once you feel you've got a nice connection in place, then you can give them a direction. It's way more effective than repeating yourself 20 times with no response. Organic cooperation is the result of connection, and it's magical. Add messiness. You're a good parent in so many ways. Sometimes you lose your cool and fall apart. Your kids are good in so many ways, and yet sometimes they lose their cool and fall apart. This is as it should be. You are both humans. Trust that things are just as they are supposed to be. The quirks, flaws, shortcomings, messes, meltdowns, all of it. When your brain says, "You really messed up today when you yelled at the kids," answer it kindly. "Yes, I know, and I love and accept myself, no matter what." When your brain tries to say you aren't good enough, respond by saying, "No, that's not true. That's not even possible. I'm doing my best. My best didn't look great today, and that's okay. I'm learning how to be the parent I want to be, Every failure brings me closer. Keep loving yourself. If you could have done better, you would have. Life is all about learning and growing no matter what. Humans make mistakes. As a parent, you might say things the wrong way. You might raise your voice. You might punish the kids without trying to understand them first. It's okay. It's part of the human experience. You can always offer an apology. Sometimes you'll apologize to your child. I'm so sorry I yelled just now. Sometimes you'll offer an apology to your partner. I'm sorry I got upset with you last night. Often, you'll apologize to yourself. Oh, honey, it's okay. I love you. Let's try again. Being a mess and making mistakes is what every human does. The more you go all in on life, the more mistakes you're apt to make, and that's okay. It's actually better than okay. It's exactly how things are supposed to be. Subtract self-criticism. There's one very important day in your parenting journey. It's the day you decide your opinion of you and your kids is more important than their opinion of you and your kids. On that day, you'll stay focused on connecting with your kids instead of correcting them. You'll take control of your life. You'll create exactly what you want. You'll become free. No matter how hard you try, someone will always think you need to parent differently. Let them be wrong. Never expect them to believe in you and support you more than you are willing to believe in and support yourself. Take their parenting comments and suggestions in stride. Fuel your own parenting, walk your own path. Self-talk is subtle, but it makes a huge impact on what you're able to create in your life. I preach this all the time. You're doing your best. Be nice to yourself. Talk kindly to yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Talk to yourself and your kids with love and truthfulness, like you talk to your bestie. Trust yourself. Trust your kids. Your turn. Take action in 30 minutes or less. Parenting is math. Connect Method Parenting is about knowing what to take out and what to add in. Throughout this chapter, I've shown you bits of the Connect Method Parenting equation, the things I've taken out and kept in. Now it's your turn to write your own parenting equation. Taking the time to write this out is invaluable to your parenting success. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, come check out League, my Connect Method parenting coaching program, where we take this material and we apply it using my proven formula. Head over to cmp.works/join.